excuse me, you're an adolescent in the mid 50s. What was radio like in Detroit, and what were you listening to during that time frame?
Um, there was a lot of jazz on radio then, WRVR, a great jazz station from Canada at the time,
Oh, cool.
and we could turn on the radio and hear Symphony Said in New York, or WRVR, which was a Riverside Church jazz station at that time, or Will Moyle in Rochester. There were some great radio stations. Uh, but there was also classical stations in Detroit that were just playing uh, not not speaking any French at 12 or 13 in the neighborhood. I learned when I got to New York and learned some other languages because I was traveling so much that one of my favorite classical programs was called La Fin du Jour. And it was always at night, like 11 o'clock at night. I learned it meant the end of the day. Well, it took me
Okay.
15 years to figure out what I was enjoying under that title. But there was radio. It was active. There was no TV. It was just coming into its own. And everyone didn't have a TV, so we would listen to the radio with the comedians and the drama shows and all the science fiction movies and the sound effects, and we would just kind of let our imagination do our job, do the visual job for us from the sounds it would make on the stage in the sound booth. Uh, I miss those days. The jazz radio it's a kind of a thought now, not actually a reality. You have to get lucky to be in LA or in New York at the right time. And spots around the country have jazz for an hour or 2 hours or so. Get an NPR kind of station.
Right,
But,
right.
but the problem is that it's not so available. So people who are now 7, 18, they just can't turn on the radio and sit down and hear a good 2 hours of some great music anytime they want. Most places wherever they are.
Yeah, it is a dying art. I'm from the city. I used to listen to once in a while. WFUV would have some good jazz. Fordham University. I don't know if they're still around even. Great
Well,
station.
a lot of stations are taken over by talk shows and all that stuff, and I guess there's a place for them, but unfortunately, they took my place.